course, was the Prime Minister replied to the President's motion of thanks, the debate. He concluded that in the Rajya Sabha today. Again, he tore into the grand old party in the upper house. He accused the Congress of mistreating B R Ambedkar, saying that the party's dislike for the social reformer, the framer of India's constitution, the Prime Minister claimed is backed by documentary proof. He said that sabka saath, sabka vikas is beyond the Congress party's comprehension, but that's a mantra that guides him and his government. He countered Rahul Gandhi's caste census pitch, saying that the Congress has been neglecting OBCs, SCs and STs. The Prime Minister also said that the Congress did not give constitutional status to the OBC Commission as it was against the party's policy of appeasement. He reiterated that for his government it's sabka saath, sabka vikas, nation first, whereas for the Congress it is family first.
लोगों के आंखों पर पट्टी बांध करके अपनी राजनीतिक सियासत को चलाए रखना, ताकि चुनाव के समय वोट की खेती हो सके, यही कार्य चलता रहा। आज जातिवाद का जहर फैलाने के लिए भरपूर प्रयास हो रहा है। कुछ लोगों को लगता होगा ये यूसीसी क्या लाए हैं, लेकिन जो संविधान सभा की डिबेट पढ़ेंगे उनको पता चलेगा कि हम उस भावना का यहां लाने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं। बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर के साथ कांग्रेस को कितनी नफरत रही थी, उनके प्रति कितना गुस्सा था, और किसी भी हालत में बाबा साहब की हर बात के प्रति कांग्रेस चिढ़ जाती थी।
Dr. Shama Mohammed, the Prime Minister says the Congress they had hatred for Baba Sahib Ambedkar, evidenced by the fact that you didn't give him the Bharat Ratna 40 years after he framed the Constitution.
The Prime Minister of India, first and foremost, does not even follow the Constitution. He was talking about emergency. He talks about caste census. We do not like it. I'm asking the Prime Minister of India a couple of questions. One, if he thinks so, why doesn't he do the caste census? Let him come out and do it. Number two, why doesn't the Prime Minister talk about the stagnant wages in this country? Why doesn't the Prime Minister of India talk about that petrol and diesel have been deregulated, but still we give you at a higher cost? Why doesn't he talk about the unemployment rate in this country? Why doesn't the Prime Minister of India talk about what is happening right now? He doesn't talk about it. He goes first to Apatkal. Every time, he's like a stuck tape recorder. He talks about emergency. Now, let me talk about emergency. Mrs. Gandhi, Indira Gandhi has, she's come out and said, yes, there are issues, shouldn't have done it. And let him also understand, in 1980, she came with a thumping majority. So let's understand that. Tell him to stop mentioning emergency.
So are you justifying imposition of emergency just because Mrs. Gandhi came back with a thumping majority?
She has apologized for it, Mrs. Indira Gandhi. We are not talking about. What we are saying is that she's apologized.
No, by that logic, Mr. Modi's got thumping majority in 2014 and 2019. So all his omissions and commissions can be forgiven because he has a thumping majority.
We are not bringing 2002. We are not talking about 2002. We can also talk about it. What we are saying is, why is Mr. Modi not talking about the biggest issue facing our country today is GST. There is the wages are stagnant, GST, unemployment, and petrol and diesel prices have been deregulated. Okay. It's clear that when the diesel and petrol prices come down, it also has to be passed on to us.
Okay, Zafar Islam, you've been an economist in a past avatar. Why are diesel and petrol prices not coming down? Why are we paying so much indirect taxes? By some estimates, more than 50% is being collected through GST. Yes, you brought down the direct taxes to 12 lakhs. Nobody has to pay tax till 12 lakhs. But what about indirect taxes? The issues that matter to the people of today, to the young people of 2025, what's the point about talking about something that happened 50 years ago? That's the question from the Congress spokesperson.
I think it was a fantastic speech by the Honorable Prime Minister. He addresses every single issues which needed to be addressed in his speech, and I think it was well covered, all the issues. Now, since you have raised about the GST, I must, or indirect taxes, I must give you the statistics, and if it is for everyone to decide whether the accusation which is being made by the Congress spokesperson is correct or not. First of all, the indirect taxes, which is part of GST, is part of indirect taxes. Earlier, it used to be more than 6% of the GDP. Now it has come down to 5% of GDP.
It's a lie.
Earlier, before the GST, Please do not disturb
It's a
me.
lie, because if you lie, I
You don't
have
know
to
the
pick up the
statistic.
lies.
Don't even
It's a lie.
don't
I
even
also
mention
have
that.
autonomy.
One second.
You
Doctor-
don't even
Doctor-
mention
Doctor
that.
Shama, let him finish, please. Let him
Mrs.
finish. Yeah. Let him
Mrs. Shama Muhammad, you should first check the statistic before even making this kind of a stupid statement. It is a lie. 5% of GDP is indirect taxes and 6% GDP of the direct taxes. Earlier it was higher when I
I'm
said
talking about
earlier
when
it
its
means
height was not
before
higher.
GST period when
It was
state.
not higher.
Please keep your mouth shut till because I was keeping my mouth shut when you were speaking. You please have some decency. I know you have no decency, but when you were speaking, I didn't interrupt you. Please have some decency. Whenever I raise some issues, when you feel exposed, you unnecessarily started making a statement. Listen. So what I was trying to tell you that during that period, complex state taxes and duties, central duties, excise duties, put together was higher, having higher impact on the consumer than the GST impact of GST. But it can be brought lower. But let me tell you, who are the culprit? Culprit is their own finance ministers, because the chief minister and the leaders make different kind of a statement outside the GST council. When they come to GST council, I am challenging them. Come to GST council and say that these are the rates which we want to reduce. But they will not, because they know that their revenue will come down, and that's why they make noises outside, but inside they are comfortable. Every decision has been taken with everyone's consensus. So if they are making this kind of statement, I challenge Congress party and their finance minister or state finance minister to come with a proposal.
Okay.
Say that these are the rates which needs to be reduced. They will never do it, because I know for sure that in GST council they behave very differently.
But
and that is
Zafar,
what they need to
18
understand.
out of
If
28.
petrol, diesel.
No.
Petrol, diesel.
Zafar, 18 out of
No.
28 states
No,
BJP
it
is in
not-
power.
You know,
Two-thirds
this is how the
majority is
lies are
required
going to
for
be
anything.
tested. Lies.
And their support is not there. Secondly, they support all they do not. First of all, you have to understand, Zakka, they do not want anything to be removed. They want more GST. As I am also asking that if they let this finance minister of communist ruled state come with the petrol and diesel should be brought into GST net.
Okay.
They should come with that proposal. Never they have come.
Zakka, can I come
because
in?
they do not want this.
Okay,
to
30
be
seconds.
under
I
the
have to
GST.
wrap up after this.
These
It's
are all
past,
lies,
the
fake
half-hour mark
statement.
on the show. Yeah.
Fake
Zakka,
statement.
Zakka,
They are
Dr.
Shama Modi, quickly,
propagating
please, yeah.
something which is
Zakka, we
factually
have told
incorrect.
many
Yeah,
times,
okay,
including Mr. Chidambaram, that we need to reduce this GST. We need to reduce the GST. He's lying again. Our states have told very clearly all over the
Come
world.
to GST
maximum is
council, not
12%.
here. GST
But
council.
here we have 28%, and you know the common man cannot. Pencil, sharpeners, curd, your rice, dal, everything. Why don't you increase people who pay the direct taxes? It's only 6%. Make it 20 or 30%. That would be better, because you can't direct, indirect, and petrol and diesel will never apply, because deregulation of petrol happened in 2010, diesel happened in 2050. The revenue, this is called a revenue sarkar. They want to, they want to
Okay.
do the fiscal deficit by not by growth.
I
just by increasing their
I have to
revenue.
wrap up. Thank you very much, Dr. Shama Mohammad, Syed Zafar Islam. We'll see how this story plays out politically. Of course, there is a few more days of the Parliament session left. I think by middle of next week it adjourns and then comes back again sometime later in February.